You are sitting at your kitchen table. The envelope has been sitting unopened for 3 days because you already know what is inside it. You finally open it. $4,200 for one night in the hospital. One night. You do not even remember all of what they did. You were scared. You were in pain. You just needed help. And now this piece of paper is telling you that you owe $4,200, and somewhere in the fine print it says your first payment is due in 30 days. So you do what most Americans do. You call the number on the bill. You ask if you can set up a payment plan. They say yes, $175 a month. You agree because what else are you going to do? And for the next 2 years, $175 disappears from your bank account every single month. Here is what nobody told you: that bill was probably wrong. According to the Medical Billing Advocates of America, 3 out of every 4 medical bills sent to patients in this country contain at least one error. Becker's Hospital Review puts the number even higher. They estimate 80% of all medical bills contain mistakes, and the average bill over $10,000 contains errors totaling around $1,300 in overcharges, according to data published by Equifax. 3 out of 4 bills, errors, that you are paying for. And on top of the errors, there is a federal law passed in 2022 that most hospitals are quietly hoping you never find out about. A law with a complaint hotline, a government form, and real enforcement teeth. And 57% of Americans have never heard of it. That law is called the No Surprises Act. And today we are going to break down exactly what it covers, what your hospital bill is required to look like under federal law, and exactly what steps to take, word for word, form by form, phone number by phone number, to dispute charges that should never have been on your bill. I am Deborah, and I am obsessed with pulling apart the systems that quietly drain money from everyday Americans without them realizing it. The medical billing system is one of the most expensive of all of them, and it is one where the gap between what you know and what you do not know can cost you thousands of dollars on a single bill. In this video, we are going to cover what the No Surprises Act actually says and what it protects you from. We are going to break down the most common billing errors and how to find them on your own bill. We are going to go through IRS Section 501R, the law that forces nonprofit hospitals to forgive bills entirely for qualifying patients. And we are going to cover the good faith estimate dispute process step by step, including the actual form number. If this is your first time on this channel, welcome to Deborah Invest. Subscribe right now because every week we break down the real systems inside the American financial world that most people never get taught. Let us get into it. Section 1. The law. Most hospitals hope you never find out about. On December 27, 2020, President Trump signed into law the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021. Buried inside that bill, in a section called Division BB, was a law that consumer advocates had been fighting for years. It was called the No Surprises Act. It took effect January 1st, 2022. Here is what it actually prohibits in plain English. If you have health insurance and you go to an emergency room, any emergency room, the hospital cannot charge you out-of-network rates. Under Section 981 of the Internal Revenue Code, your cost sharing for emergency services is limited to what you would have paid in network. Full stop. Here is the real-life scenario. You wake up at 2 a.m. with chest pains. You call 911. The ambulance takes you to the nearest hospital. You are not stopping to check whether that hospital is in your network. And it turns out it is out of your network. Before the No Surprises Act, that hospital could bill you 2, 3, or 4 times the in-network rate for the exact same care. That balance bill could be thousands of dollars, and it was completely legal. After the No Surprises Act, that balance bill is illegal. You pay your normal in-network cost sharing and nothing more. The hospital cannot send you a bill for the difference. This protection also covers non-emergency care at in-network facilities. If your in-network hospital assigns you an out-of-network anesthesiologist, radiologist, pathologist, or assistant surgeon, those providers cannot balance bill you either. And it covers air ambulances, previously one of the most devastating sources of surprise bills, with some patients receiving statements for $50,000 or more for a single transport. Section 2. How to know if your bill violates the No Surprises Act. Pull out any hospital bill you have received since January 1st, 2022. Here is how to evaluate it. Step 1. Identify the type of care. Was this an emergency? Was this care at an in-network facility where a provider turned out to be out of network? Was this an air ambulance? If yes to any of these, the No Surprises Act almost certainly applies. Step 2. Check your explanation of benefits. Your insurance company sends an EOB after every claim. It shows what the provider charged, what insurance paid, and what you owe. If it shows out-of-network rates applied to emergency care or a balance bill for out-of-network providers at an in-network facility, that is your red flag. Step 3. Compare the EOB to your hospital bill. Your bill should not be higher than than what your EOB says your in-network cost sharing is. If it is, that is a potential No Surprises Act violation. Section 3. How to file a No Surprises Act complaint, step by step. Here is exactly what you do. Not vague guidance. The actual steps, the actual form, the actual phone number. No surprises. Help desk. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Phone 1-800-985-3059. Website cms.gov. Medical bill rights. Help. Submit a complaint. Form number CMS 10779. Have ready before you call your name, the provider's name, the date of service, the amount billed, your insurance plan name and member ID, a copy of your bill, and your EOB. Select the complaint category that fits. Emergency care billed at out-of-network rates. Select balance billing for emergency services. Out-of-network providers at an in-network facility. Select balance billing for non-emergency services at in-network facilities. After you submit, CMS sends you a confirmation number. Save it. Critical protection. While your complaint is under review, the provider cannot send your account to collections, cannot report it to credit bureaus, cannot charge late fees on the disputed amount. This protection kicks in the moment you file. Real example. A nurse in Texas named Angela received a $3,400 bill from an out-of-network anesthesiologist after surgery at her in-network hospital. She had no say in who was assigned. Her insurance paid the in-network rate. The anesthesiologist balance billed her for the rest, a direct No Surprises Act violation. She filed Form CMS 10779. The charge was reversed within 60 days. She paid $0. Section 4. The good faith estimate. You're right before you even get care. The No Surprises Act also created the good faith estimate, a protection most Americans have never heard of. If you are uninsured or paying out of pocket, any healthcare provider is required by federal law to give you a written, itemized estimate of expected charges at least 3 business days before your scheduled appointment. Here is where it has real teeth. If your actual bill comes in at $400 or more above the good faith estimate, you have the legal right to dispute it through the Patient-Provider Dispute Resolution Process, PPDR. You have 120 calendar days from receiving the bill to file. Go to cms.gov, medical bill rights, help, dispute a bill. There is a $25 filing fee. An independent third party certified by the Department of Health and Human Services reviews your case and decides what you actually owe. While the dispute is pending, no collections, no late fees, no credit reporting. You are fully protected. Real example. A patient in Florida scheduled knee surgery. Her good faith estimate said $6,200. The actual bill came in at $8,900, $2,700 over the threshold. She filed the PPDR dispute. The independent reviewer sided with her. She paid $6,200. She saved $2,700 by knowing one federal website address. Action step. Before any scheduled procedure as a self-pay patient, say these words. I am a self-pay patient. Can I have my good faith estimate? They are required by law to provide it. If they refuse, report it to 1-800-985-3059. Section 5. The law that makes hospitals forgive bills entirely. This is separate from the No Surprises Act, but just as powerful. It has been sitting in the tax code since 2010, and most Americans who qualify have never used it. It is IRS Section 501R, and it lives inside the Affordable Care Act. Roughly 60% of all hospitals in the United States are nonprofit organizations registered under IRS Code 501c3 in exchange for their tax-exempt status. No federal income tax, reduced property taxes, tax-deductible donations. Section 501R requires every single one of them to maintain a financial assistance policy. This is not optional. It is a condition of keeping their nonprofit status. Specifically, subsections 501R4 through 501R6 require the hospital to post a written financial assistance policy on their website, include information about it on every bill, give patients at least 240 days to apply, pause collections while an application is reviewed, and charge qualifying patients no more than what Medicare would pay for the same service. Here is what should make you pick up the phone right now. A 2025 report from the nonprofit organization $4 found that 52% of patients who qualified for financial assistance were never told by their hospital that the program existed. The hospital knew it existed. Federal law required them to publicize it. And more than half of qualifying patients never found out. Who qualifies? Every hospital sets its own thresholds. Many cover patients up to 200% of the federal poverty level. Approximately approximately $30,120 for a single person or $62,400 for a family of 4 in 2025, with full bill forgiveness. Others go up to 400%. Sliding scale partial discounts are common even for patients above the threshold. Here is how to access it. Step 1. Search your hospital's name plus financial assistance policy or charity care application. Section 501(r)(4 requires it to be on their website. Step 2. Call the billing department and say exactly this. I would like to apply for financial assistance under your Section 501(r) charity care policy. Can you please send me the application? Step 3. Fill it out honestly. You will need recent pay stubs, a tax return, or a letter from your employer. Bank statements may be requested. Step 4. Submit and get written confirmation. Under Section 501(r)(6, the hospital cannot send your account to collections while your application is under review. Step 5. Wait for a written decision. If approved, the bill is written off entirely. You owe nothing. If denied, ask for the appeal process in writing. Real scenario. A 34-year-old single mother in Georgia received a $12,400 hospital bill after giving birth. Uninsured and earning about $22,000 a year working part-time, she found the financial assistance application on the hospital's website, submitted it with 3 pay stubs and her tax return. Her income qualified under 250% of the federal poverty level. The entire $12,400 was forgiven. She paid $0. The application took 45 minutes. Even if your bill is already in collections, you can still apply. Section 501(r)(6 requires hospitals to make reasonable efforts to determine financial assistance eligibility before pursuing extraordinary collection actions. If your account went to collections while you were eligible and the hospital never told you the program existed, you can report that to the IRS using Form 13909 at irs.gov. Section 6. The itemized bill and the self-pay discount. The itemized bill is the most powerful document you have, and most patients never ask for it. The default bill the hospital sends is a summary, a few broad categories, and a total. That is not a real accounting of your charges. The itemized bill lists every single charge with its CPT billing code and individual price. Call billing and say, I am requesting a complete itemized bill, including all CPT codes for my visit on date of service. Once you have it, look for these 5 things. Duplicate charges, the same CPT code appearing twice for the same service on the same date. Upcoding, a routine procedure billed at the code for a more complex and expensive one. Charges for services not received. Medications, procedures, or supplies billed that were never used. Anesthesia time discrepancies. Anesthesia is billed by the minute. Time overages directly inflate your bill. Room charges for days you were not admitted. If you were in the ER but never formally admitted, inpatient room charges should not appear. For every discrepancy, call billing, reference the specific CPT code and date, and say, I am disputing this charge. This service was not performed, or this code appears twice. Ask them to open a formal billing review. Write down the name of the representative, the date, and time. While any item is under formal dispute, it cannot go to collections and in most states cannot be reported to credit bureaus. The self-pay discount is your final move. After financial assistance and error corrections, call billing one more time and say, I understand there is a self-pay or cash pay discount available. What is the best rate you can offer me if I pay in full or set up a payment arrangement today? Then stop talking. The California Medical Billing Advocates Association documents 25 to 35% reductions routinely offered in response to this question. You can also ask to be charged at the Medicare reimbursement rate, publicly available information that some billing departments will accept as a benchmark for self-pay patients. Section 7. If your bill is already in collections, your options are not gone. Here is what still protects you. Fair Debt Collection Practices. Act. Send a written debt validation letter within 30 days of first contact from a collector. They must prove the debt is valid and the amount is correct. While in validation, it cannot be reported as a new delinquency. Section 501(r)(6. If the hospital is a nonprofit and sent your bill to collections before checking whether you qualified for financial assistance, report that to the IRS using Form 13909 at irs.gov. No Surprises Act. Filing a complaint at 1-800-985-3059 still applies to the original provider, even if the account is with a collector. Medical debt credit reporting. The three major credit bureaus removed all medical debt under $500 from credit reports in 2023. For amounts over $500, there is now a 1-year delay before unpaid medical debt can be reported. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau finalized a rule in January 2025 that would ban medical debt from credit reports entirely. Check the current status at cfpb.gov. A hospital bill arriving in your mailbox is not a final number. It is an opening figure, and between that figure and what you actually owe sits federal law, financial assistance programs, billing error corrections, and negotiation. Here is your action plan starting today. Call 1-800-985-3059, the No Surprises Help Desk at CMS, if you believe your bill includes charges restricted under federal law. Search your hospital's name plus financial assistance policy tonight if you are having difficulty paying. You have 240 days from the bill date to apply under Section 501R. Request your itemized bill this week. One evening reviewing CPT codes can save you hundreds or thousands of dollars. Ask for the self-pay rate on whatever remains. One sentence, one phone call. If this video helped you, share it with someone in your life dealing with a medical bill right now. This information is publicly available. It just rarely reaches the people who need it most. Drop a comment below and tell me, do you have a hospital bill you have questions about? I read every comment. Subscribe to Deborah Invest. Next week, we are going deep on the free $5,000 your bank won't tell you about. My name is Deborah. This is Deborah Invests. Go make that phone call.